Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk the NFL draft. Obviously, I got my green screen going on right now, and I guess it's because it's sun going down. The background's looking a little goofy, so let me actually turn that off for right now. But anyway, so what we're doing today is we are going to talk about the NFL draft. I am going to be live reacting to it. I have it in the background, listening to it right there with my AirPod. So I'm going to give my thoughts, my predictions, just my opinions on the NFL as a whole and what they're doing on the draft. So this is going to be a lot of fun. If you are on my channel talking movies and stuff, then obviously you're going to be unfamiliar or not as familiar with what I'm going to be discussing. But it's one of those things where that's all right. Not that big of a deal. I'm writing some notes down in case for when I clip out, specific reactions or whatever. So 7:08, we'll say start time. But yeah, this is going to be a good time. So in terms of the Jets specifically, I think that we have a fantastic team. Just officially sign or trading for Aaron Rodgers. We did trade down from 13 to 15, which I don't think that's going to drastically change what we're doing in the first round. If we're going offensive lineman, we have a decent amount of options with Skoronski, who could potentially drop down because of his guard tackle, the up in the air of what he is between the two. Darnell Wright is one of those tackles that is a right tackle, and he's been actually rising up recently. So it could have been one of those things that if he was number one on our board or number two behind Paris Johnson, then that could have been a steal. But honestly, I'm not sure if that is going to be considered a steal nowadays or, currently. So it's one of those things that maybe it's not a lock that he's there even at 15. Broderick Jones, if you look at a bunch of mock drafts throughout the entire time, that officially open. So let's see if Bryce Young actually does go to the Carolina Panthers. All right. Just have that in the background. Let's make that green. All right. So with that said, for the Jets, if we go offensive lineman, I personally would want not Broderick Jones. See, that's the one. See, everyone's got me in my head, Broderick Jones. I personally would want to go Darnell Wright. I just feel like he is a set in stone. We know what we got at right tackle, and that's me having faith in Mekhi Becton from his injury. So that's just me personally having that faith in Mekhi Becton. Dwayne Brown is there, whether it's a backup, just as a veteran, leadership behind the role, and then also we have Max Mitchell coming back from the blood clots. So we have options, at line. So with that said, I don't necessarily think we 100% have to go offensive line, whether it's we don't want to reach, unless, for hypothetically speaking, say Paris Johnson Jr. is our guy, number one on our board, and he's somehow there at 15, which he's not, but just hypothetically speech for this consideration. Then obviously you go offensive lineman just because you get a guy, whoever's number one on your board at that position. But say our number one guy isn't there, but our number one guy at receiver, JSN, or maybe even like at 15, it's not going to happen, but like the Jalen Carter conversation, him dropping down, like there's other positions where the number one guy, on our board could be there, So I don't think we have to be locked in at tackle. And also DJ Reed, cornerback, he tweeted about an hour ago that he knows who we're picking. He could have been trolling just because, Jets players like to talk on Twitter. He could have been trolling, but there's a chance that he was hyped for our pick. And let's just be real. A cornerback is not hyped for an offensive lineman. So we will see how that goes. It's one of those things. I don't know if people are going to watch the live, but if I'm going to watch, might as well react live. I'm on YouTube TV, so I might be a couple seconds behind if you are watching live with me. So don't spoil in the comments until I say something on screen. Obviously, you're not going to see that, but I'll probably be watching on the other screen because like I said, I have it in my ear so I can watch and then not have to worry about feedback coming through on the mic. But so my prediction at number one, I definitely think as an Alabama fan, I think it should be Bryce Young at number one. If if I was to think about all the other possibilities that the Panthers could go. Oh, see, and so I need to turn my phone over. I'm way behind. All right, so that was at 55. So I obviously it just got spoiled for me. Bryce Young is number one, so I got to turn my phone over so it doesn't get spoiled. So that was at 55. So I'm curious how far behind I am with this delay. Looks like a couple minutes. I mean, it could be just what that everyone just knows that it's Bryce Young, so maybe it wasn't announced yet, so I'm not as far behind. No, I love Bryce Young. So to touch on Bryce Young, his abilities as an Alabama fan, uh, similar to what we saw in Mac Jones a couple years ago as just a quarterback, as a thrower of the football, making decisions. He's just good at that. But the difference is his ability to work inside the pocket, his ability to improvise, his ability to make moves, and his ability to not let his height and size hinder his actual quarterbacking skills. And I feel like that is super impressive just as a player as well as a leader of a team. So Bryce Young, regardless of what team he goes to, obviously Carolina here, but regardless of what team he goes to, I don't think he's the type of player that is a scheme specific quarterback, which we might see from like Will Levis and Anthony Richardson of like they need to be in the right scheme or else they might not live up to the hype. Coming from I'm a Jets fan, Zach Wilson. I need to go back and rewatch my reaction to his draft pick a couple years ago to see exactly what my thoughts were initially because I was hyped going in because I just didn't want Justin Fields. And I know it sounds silly now, but even I still believe with Zach Wilson on roster, working behind Rodgers, that at his peak, at his best, if we get Zach Wilson's best, I still do believe it will be better than Justin Fields' best as an overall quarterback. With that said, though, I'm curious to see how confident I was in the what ifs and the everything needs to fall in line for Zach Wilson to be that. But with that said, my point is with quarterbacks like Levis and Richardson, they need to be in the right position. So obviously, everyone's talking about how the Colts at 4 could go either of them for different reasons. Will Levis just because he fits just the standard of what they've set for years in terms of just size, like, essentially Andrew Luck, not quarterback abilities, but just the stature of Andrew Luck and what he was able to bring. And then bringing over Shane Steichen from the Eagles, that Anthony Richardson just kind of fits the, prototype of what Jalen Hurts had. So it's one of those things that it could go either way. I don't have a prediction, honestly, because I genuinely think I understand both sides. I didn't know that. Did not know that. Alabama's never had a number one overall pick. All right, the pick is official. No, it's not. Yeah, pick is in. Like it for. Oh, I had one viewer, so they didn't get to get my thing. But anyway, I'm just gonna reiterate: if someone tunes in and don't spoil the pick until you hear me announce it, just because I'm watching on YouTube TV and I know there's naturally delay. I just honestly do not know how far behind. Like 4 minutes ago, I got a notification that Bryce Young was picked, where I was like 6 minutes ago, 7 minutes ago. But I don't know for sure if that was more of like, hey, we just know versus the actual televised announcement. So, all right. So the conversation number 2, assuming Bryce Young is number 1 here. Number 2, I actually think that we are going back-to-back Alabama. The Texans are going to go Will Anderson just because there is a legitimate chance that Levis or Richardson drops 12 and or the Texans find a suitor to trade up from 12 to 8 or 7 with the Raiders or the Falcons. So I feel like, in their opinion, that if Stroud's not the guy, like if it's not 1A, 1B with Bryce Young, if Stroud's not the guy, then you go over and you kind of risk one of those quarterbacks falling, the developmental project quarterbacks, one of them falling, and then kind of seeing what you have because they still technically have Davis Mills and they're still an overall rebuilding, bottom of the NFL team. So the pressure to have a, savior at quarterback this season is not as high as, you would want. And if you only have Bryce Young as your number one and the rest are like a tier lower, then Will Anderson is your pick at number two, or even Jalen Carter. But I feel like you probably go Will Anderson. Bryce Young, number one overall. Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. Bryce Young, number one overall. Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama. Like I said, I think it's a great pick. They're now kind of the opposite of what I was saying about the Texans. They are rebuilding in a sense of they're not ready to win now, but they are less rebuilding than the Texans where, if Bryce Young is that guy and he lives up to it and, the pieces that they've got around him with Thielen, off the top of my head, I can't think of what they did. Like one other pick. Would they get Chark? Maybe. So if those guys live up to being a good enough for now, then they can get some wins. You know what I mean? So like my point is like if the Jets played the Panthers, I would be it wouldn't be a walk in the park. You know what I mean? We would definitely have to do some work. So no, I'm excited. I love this guy. The dimensions are definitely something that is up in the air in terms of like reality. Like, are they building them up? Like, I'm 220 pounds, and granted, with body fat on my body, you know, I'm going to look different than Bryce Young, but I'm in 5'11", 225, and I look, do I look a full 20 pounds bigger than him, or do I look even more bigger? Because obviously he's a quarterback with a slender build, so not as much muscle as me either. So is he actually 200? I don't know. But with that said, size in today's NFL, people are underrating the fact that you're not really allowed to get hit. You know what I mean? And stuff happens in the NFL. So regardless of what size you are, like look at Joe Burrow 2 years ago when he tore his knee. That had nothing to do with his size. That had nothing to do with his ability. That's just his line got blown up and he just got tackled down low. So stuff happens in the NFL. So I don't think his size in terms of injury is going to be as worrisome as a lot of people think. Like, I mean, look at Drew Brees even size wise. Does he really look that much different than Bryce Young in terms of like stature? Like body, type, height. Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson prove that they can throw the ball over the middle. Obviously, Russell Wilson and Kyler are both stockier than Bryce Young, which is another reason why I'm not confident that he's actually 200 pounds. But in today's NFL, I don't expect him to get like hit so much to where that's really going to be an issue. I'm not worried about that. So yes, I do have good expectations, high expectations for Bryce Young, and I'm happy for the young man. Roll Tide. So now, once again, at 2, I genuinely think that the Texans should go Will Anderson. Look at what happened with the Niners when they drafted Nick Bosa. I'm not even comparing the players, but I'm just bringing up the vibe. You get a player like that. Oh, I thought they were saying pick is in. I want to hear what he says. tomorrow. I like that. Pick us in. So it's either CJ Stroud or it's Will Anderson. Like they know, you know, if they believe the hype that it was Bryce Young. So I also wouldn't be surprised if they went Anthony Richardson. Let's just be real. Let's be real. Like I said, they're not in a rush to win today, tomorrow. Like Anthony Richardson or Will. I mean, it's D'Amico Ryan's my guy. Get yourself a defensive stud, Will Anderson. Worry about quarterback next year or somehow 12. See if my green screen's better now with the lighting. Nope. I don't know what's going on. I'm still working on it. I just got the green screen recently, so not sure how to fix that, but I'll deal with that later. I think it's Will Anderson. They did go CJ. Wow. The hype. All right. Respect. They were just trying to cause trouble. I respect that. I'm not mad at it. Like, I have nothing against CJ Stroud. I just, it's one of those things. Will Anderson is that guy. You know what I mean? And if, like I said a couple minutes ago, if CJ Stroud wasn't 1A, 1B with Bryce Young, like, let's be real. If in on their board, if they reached because they're desperate for a quarterback, I still think it was a bad pick. Not this is nothing against CJ Stroud as a player, as a quarterback. This is just in terms of draft strategy, knowing you have 1 in 12. When you're a team that's rebuilding and not just a quarterback away like the Jets, you don't want to reach for your quarterback. Once again, not saying CJ Stroud is a reach, but saying on your board. So unless CJ Stroud was 1A, 1B with Bryce Young, I still think that Will Anderson would have been a better pick, knowing that there's a chance that Levis or Richardson could have dropped to 12 or just build up your team more and then get your quarterback next year, knowing that, you know, Caleb Williams is a possibility next year. So once again, not a knock on CJ Stroud as a player. I think he's going to be good as long as the Texans allow him to be. As a Jets fan, knowing that I did not want Justin Fields a couple years ago, I would have rather had CJ Stroud. So I have nothing against CJ Stroud. Just saying draft strategy wise. All right, so now at 3. Since see, now because it went Cardinals, I say like Will Anderson is there. Are you building that offense? You building that defense? It's Will Anderson or it's Paris Johnson. Like, I mean, I think someone because CJ is gone. I don't know if anyone's going to trade up to 3 because now the Colts are essentially having to go Richardson or Levis, which means someone could. I don't know. Let's see what he says. I respect. I like the kid. I told you that. I respect that. I did like what they're talking about. Once again, I'm not sure how different I am like anyone actually watching live, but the test. He's like, I'm not a test taker. I'm a football player, and coming from me, who is not a test taker, I agree with that. What is the care? It's like it's tough. It's like, do the Cardinals are a weird team because like what 2 years ago they were favorites to be like up and coming and be legit. Now it's like with Kyler coming off that injury, with just honestly not really having much. Like they need a running back. DeAndre Hopkins on the way out. Hollywood Brown, yeah, he's a good player, but like, is he your number one? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's so many holes. So it's like a good offense, defense. There's no receiver you're going this high. So you got to go BPA at defense, which is either Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, depending on it could go either way in terms of like, do you want an interior defensive lineman or do you want an edge rusher? So literally that just depends on what you want because I feel like they are 1A, 1B in terms of like BPA on defense. And then on offense, if you want to protect your offense and you want to have cornerstone at offensive line. It's not flashy, it's not beautiful, but guess what? Your team is not it's not really that sexy as a whole. So I genuinely think the Cardinals should go Paris. And this is as a Jets fan who would I likely prefer the offensive lineman to go down a little bit, but you got to go offensive lineman because who just mocked this? So they are doing it. Oh my god, who just did this mock? All right, so everything that I just said about Will Anderson at 2, if, if you guys, I just watched Draft Day today. This is Draft Day, but instead of edge running back, it's edge quarterback. They're gonna go Will Anderson. You got Will Anderson, and CJ Stroud. All right, everything I just said. Texans, let's go. Super Bowl champs. I'm just kidding, but wow, it was Daniel Jeremiah's mock. It was DJ's draft. Holy cow. I'm saying right now, Will Anderson. It's got to be. What did they give up though? Worth it no matter what. But I'm just genuinely curious what they. Cardinals are definitely taking offensive linemen now at 12, which is more scary for the Jets because it's like, they could go Skoronsky at 12 if he makes it. They had to give up one of those ones. Will Anderson is my that's what I'm saying because I said they should have won him at 2, but they did that thing. Roll Tide. Wow. We are off to the races. We are off to the races with this. All right, so Rappaport said, so they're getting third. Ooh. All right, so from 3 and 105, for the Texans are giving them, or no, yeah, Texans are giving them 12-33 this year. So they're going to start off round two. Well, technically second round two. Next year's first, which I don't know which one because, like they said, they trade with the Browns. So maybe the Browns first, and a 2020 and next year's third. I think that's a good trade. The second might be, I mean, it's worth it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but the second might be like if they did a third this year for two ones or trade down a one and then 2/3, then you definitely say Texans 100% won that. That second is the one that it's a good trade. It's a good trade. Like no negatives. It's a good trade. I did, I just saw a tweet that it's Anthony Richardson, which, like I said, because of Shane Steiche's offense, I'm not surprised. We'll see if that's truth. Roll Tide. Look at that. Texans, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson. I love it. Roll Tide. I could see the Texans trading both their thirds or a third and a fourth to get up in the back in the second. So don't. They might win this entire draft. They might be the Jets of this draft. I genuinely do not know. I agree. The thing with the Gardner Minshew, it's like he is more of fit with the Shane Steichen offense in terms of just with them, but they're still different players. With that said, Seahawks are going Jalen Carter no matter what. Lock it in. There's no way you're allowing Pete Carroll to let a little extra weight and some off the field issues that are not actually off the field issues, just one incident, allegedly. And obviously, there's a lot that goes into it, but Seahawks are going. Seahawks are going Jalen Carter. A green screen fix yet? Why is that? I want this to be fixed. Yep. 3 quarterbacks in the first four picks. Is he hype or is he lit? I live in Indiana, so I have a lot of Colts fans around me. So I'm definitely curious to see if they're excited about this. Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson. I think it's a good pick. Like it's one of those that you are assuming that Psyche can transition his offense that he's developed with Jalen Hurts over to Indianapolis. If he can, Anthony Richardson is going to be fine. I think he's a good player. Just like with Justin Fields. I actually like him more than Justin Fields, like being honest. I sound like a Justin Fields hater now, twice bringing him up, but I don't think he's as run first as people like to say. I just think that his ability, just like with Lamar, it's not necessarily automatically run first. It's just when you're so good at running and you're so big, it just makes it look like, that's just all you remember. Yeah. What do you run? A 4.4 something? 4.5? I don't remember. 4.3? I think it's going to be a good pick. As a non-Colts fan, just as an NFL fan, I'm glad he said that. Anthony Richardson, that's who he wants to be. I mean, it's just like what Lamar said when he got drafted. He's a quarterback. You gotta have faith in yourself. If a lot of people think that stuff, you know what I mean. You gotta show off your actual quarterback abilities and your skills, and I think he has that. I mean, think about it. Anthony Richardson really only needs to throw 20, 25 times a game in his first year, assuming that he starts right away. Like he's gonna go with Gardner in camp, see who wins that battle. So, assuming that he doesn't like tank training camp, all that stuff, off season workouts, then he starts what, 2025? All you need 2025, 15 to 25 attempts a game. Yeah. So like the difference with Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields versus Zach Wilson, where assuming Anthony Richardson starts right away, Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields' ability to run give them more confidence and just more fire, start to finish. Whereas Zach Wilson can run, but that's not his game. So when he gets put in a rut and his confidence starts getting blown out, and he's just not there, that's when he started to melt down, and that's just when he just became a bad quarterback. No, nope, not pulling any punches. So I think that it's not a bad idea if you just start Anthony Richardson immediately, assuming that he earns it. Obviously, you can't just give it to him, regardless of the fourth overall pick. I think that's the difference. Which, again, why I'm confident that if the Jets, it's the only issue with Zach Wilson long term is I love how it said they lost DJ Reed. Already lost him. But with Zach Wilson is we kind of have to pay him to still be a maybe if we're going to keep him. You know what I mean? That's the only issue with that, because it's almost guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed, but it's a solid chance that Rodgers is going to play 2 seasons minimum. So I think we still need to have a contingency plan in case Zach just doesn't really show that he's the guy behind Rodgers. So do a little mock draft now. So Jalen Carter at 5. A lot of people are saying Devin Witherspoon at 6 for the Lions, and I'm just not seeing it. Tyree Wilson, Jackson Smith-Njigba. I say one of them two. I say they go Tyree Wilson. That's what I'm gonna say. I just don't think they're gonna go corner. They are living in the moment right now of striving from good picks, from flashy picks. Dan Campbell, that's kind of his vibe. He wants that flashy picks. And just imagine Tyree Wilson going inside, outside, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Pretty scary. I mean, they might go corner, don't get me wrong, just because BPA, but Tyree Wilson. And imagine if the Seahawks do not go Jalen Carter. Lions are running Jalen Carter up. So if the Seahawks don't go Jalen Carter, I actually could see them going Witherspoon. Pair him up with Tariq Woolen, because Woolen showed what a dynamic corner can do. And imagine if you have 2, you know what I mean? So, but they got to go Jalen Carter because they lost Quinn Jefferson to the Jets. And pretty sure they lost another interior. And it could be boring, but imagine just going lineman again. They got Cross last year. Their line is fine. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if they went Paris Johnson. So I'm gonna say Paris Johnson or Jalen Carter's like 1, and if for some reason they don't go him, if they go offense, Paris Johnson. If they go defense, I'm actually gonna say Witherspoon. So that's my my prediction for the Seattle Seahawks. Let's see. See what I tell you? I told you. I said it. If they don't go Jalen Carter because of whatever, Devin Witherspoon. What did I just say? I got to clip that. I called that. I called that last minute because I don't think the Lions are doing that. I still don't. The Lions are going Jalen Carter. Like, pick is in. Pick is in, right? I bet you. Like, wow. I gotta write that down. I called that. 7:45. Witherspoon. Call. I called that. All right. See, I know what I'm talking about. I said Will Anderson to the Texans. They trade back up to get him. And then I say Devin to 5'11 is not bad. 5'11 and a half. It's not bad. It's not ideal. But it's definitely not bad. Because Gonzalez is what, 6'3 or 6'2? That is definitely the first kink, though. I see the Lions going. Dan Campbell is like, yo, we can handle you, Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is my prediction. I'm going Jalen Carter to Detroit. My prediction: Jalen Carter. Is it Ian Jalen Carter? I think there's an A in there. No, that's all right. 6'3", 300 pounds. Like that just feels like a Dan Campbell guy. All right, I just never mind. Lions are trading to the Cardinals. Okay, So if that's true, if the Cardinals did trade with Detroit, they got to go Paris Johnson. That's what I said they should do at 3. So if they were able to make this trade, respect that. They probably trade their second that they just got. So 12 and 33 to go up to 6. I think that's yeah. It's the only downfall about being so or 34. So 12, 34, and 168, but they get 181 back. So yeah, that's good. All right. So if Cardinals go Paris Johnson Jr., then the Raiders are going Jalen Carter. Like that's Raiders. Like they are wild. They don't care. They don't care about your history or whatever. Raiders. Could you imagine if they go Jalen Carter? That makes sense. All right. Paris Johnson Jr. is now prediction Raiders Jalen Carter. Great trade for the Cardinals, by the way. You essentially traded down from 3 to 6 for a third round pick and next year's first, essentially. Did you get a third from Detroit? And the first next year from Houston. All right, first tackle off the board. I respect that. All right, so the Raiders are gonna go Jalen Carter. So if Raiders go Jalen Carter, the Falcons are gonna go. I could see them going Christian Gonzalez, pair him up with AJ Terrell, Tyree Wilson, Skronsky. Those are my three. A lot of people like Bijan. Mm, I could see Falcons trading. Tennessee trading Falcons. I could see that. Falcons might trade. If Jalen Carter gets picked here, maybe the Falcons trade. I just don't feel. I don't know. I just don't feel the Raiders going corner, man. I just can't see the Raiders passing up on Jalen Carter. I'm still sticking with Jalen Carter, man. That's why they're taking this long. They didn't expect him to be here, so they're fighting with themselves to like, should we not? Could you could you could you see them going Levis? They got to go Jalen Carter. I'm still sticking Jalen Carter. I could see him going receiver too. JSN, Jalen Carter. They don't care about offensive line. I can see them picking Broderick Jones. Raiders are a wild card, yeah, because they're weird just as a franchise. Just like with the Texans, which good for them. D'Amico Ryan stepped in and it's like, yo, I got this. Wow. All right. The Jalen Carter drops. Interesting. Well, the Falcons are in Georgia, so like if they don't go Jalen Carter, then I don't know. Let's say Christian Gonzalez. I'm gonna say the Falcons go Gonzalez. It's a big dude. A big dude. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 8 picks away. 8 picks away. The Jalen Carter Jets trade up to get Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter just BPA. I want Darnell Wright. JSN. Bronski. Roderick Jones. Nolan Smith is interesting. Lucas Van Ness is interesting. Michael Mayer is interesting. It's got 8. That's my big board. Jalen Carter, Darnell Wright, JSN in that order. I'd probably actually go JSN over Darnell Wright, just in terms of my personal opinion. Because I have faith in the combination and the rotation of Mekhi Becton, Dwayne Brown, and Max Mitchell. So yeah, Let's see. What's Twitter saying? All right, I got to stop looking at Twitter. Interesting. Is that true? Respect it. The Atlanta Falcons win Bijan. Interesting. So who's at 9? 9's the Bears. 10's the Eagles. Titans. Lions. Packers. Patriots. All right, let me write this down. What we got? Bears. Eagles. Titans. Lions. Packers. Patriots. Jets. Bro, imagine if the Bears get Jalen Carter after that trade. Bears got to go Jalen Carter. Eagles, if Bijan's gone, I see them going. I could see them going Nolan Smith, man. Christian Gonzalez because he dropped to 10. Imagine if Christian Gonzalez drops to the Lions at 12, at 11, 12. That'd be impressive. Levis to the Titans at 11. Packers. I don't know. There's a chance that Jalen Carter drops to the Jets because if Bears go offensive line, ooh, Eagles just traded it with the Bears. They're getting Jalen Carter then. I just tweets. They're gonna go Bijan Robinson now. Respect it. Interesting. So if the Eagles traded up, they're going Jalen Carter. I say Eagles go Jalen. Bears. Skoronski. Titans, Levis. Lions, Gonzalez. Hmm. The way that the draft board's falling, Jets are almost guaranteed either one of Skoronski, or I'm just going upwards. So not Skoronski. I'm sorry, JSN, Darnell Wright, and Broderick Jones. So that's not bad. I'm okay with any of those. 100% confident with any of those picks. All right, fix that. Yeah. Let me use the bathroom. No one's watching right now, but in case anyone's watching on the replay for some reason, I'm going to the bathroom. All right, so back in. Eagles ran up Jalen Carter. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears go Chris Gonzalez, not expecting him to be there. But they're going to go offensive line. Say they go Skoronski. I hope they go Broderick Jones. Because out of those three, Skoronski, Darnell Wright, and Broderick Jones. He's my least favorite. But I hope the Bears go Jones. It's nasty. That's nasty. Broderick Jones, our prediction for the Bears. Good for the Eagles. I got no issues with him as a player or as a person. Good for the Eagles. Wow. Rich get richer. If the Bears go Broderick Jones, Skoronski could literally be fall to 15. That was really awkward. He just handed him the phone to hang up. I hope one day I'm that rich. Holy cow. Just handing him the phone to hang up. I'm glad I checked before the Jets pick. That was an interesting interview. You could tell he was so nervous that he was going to get asked more personal stuff. Broderick Jones. This is the first pick that affects the Jets. Frick! Ah! Damn it! Well, apparently I did. Connor Hughes is spoiling everything for me. I got to stop looking at Twitter because I want to see people's reactions. But apparently, Titans. Titans. All right, JSN. JSN to the Jets. I didn't really want offensive line anyway. Don't. Who cares? But if he, oh my god, imagine if he's not available. All right, Carter's gone. Jason's still my number one, but Darnell Wright's gone, so that's and Skoronski are gone. If JSN's gone, because Packers could go JSN. Hopefully they go Michael Mayer. Patriots, Lions are going to go Christian Gonzalez. That one's easy. Patriots could go Levis. Patriots could go Levis. Man, weird. So let's hope Packers go Broderick Jones or Michael Mayer. Patriots go Will Levis. And Jets get JSN. I want JSN. I want Rodgers to have people to throw to. I want there to be no doubt. Trade Corey Davis for a third. I'm going to look at Twitter and see how much I regret it. Isaiah Wilson, oof. I say so. Scroncy to the Titans. Chris Gonzalez to the Lions. All right, so because we're about to get to the Jets' original pick, I'm actually going to start a new live stream and just talk about the Jets. So if you watch this on the repeat for some reason, appreciate you. Comment below if you think I should do more NFL talk, and I'm really considering it. So my name's Henry Confidential. Like and subscribe if you made this far in the video. Appreciate you guys, and go Jets.